Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Magic Body. Today we are going to talk about the power of the breath. So there are many different paths to enlightenment, but one path, which is particularly simple, though it isn't easy, is to observe your natural breath. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, if you were enlightened, then you would observe every single breath that you took in a day. You would be aware of every single breath that you took. And we take about 20,000 breaths a day. And probably the average person is aware of, 10 to 20 breaths that they take throughout the day. And I meditate a lot, and I'm not aware of that many more. So it's not, again, it's not easy, but it's something that we all are capable of, to become more aware of our natural breath. And you see, the breath is really the only bridge, the only very tangible and easy to understand bridge between our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. So what that means is that when we change the way that we are responding to the world around us, our breath changes. So for example, if I'm feeling angry, my breath might become more labored and intense. Or if I'm really excited, my breath might speed up and become more shallow. Or if I am feeling sad about something, I might have like very slow exhales and quicker inhales. I mean, it's different for every person and in every situation. But you can check in to see how you're breathing, and that will indicate how you are responding to the world around you in that moment. So, it's in our culture, I don't know how this happened, but we are very, very trained when we come into awareness of our breath to then change the breath. So we're told, take a deep breath. How often are we told to take a deep breath? Anytime we're beginning a meditation or beginning a yoga class, or a doctor tells us to take a deep breath to calm down, right? We're often told this, and that's fine. It's fine to take a deep breath. But what I'm interested in is when we instead observe whatever the natural breath is in that moment, because that's what gives us insight into how we are responding to the world around us. So if I check in and I find that my breath is really labored and fast and intense, I might be like, whoa, why am I feeling so much stress? Or if I notice that it's super fast and shallow, I might be like, okay, I'm feeling really nervous right now. And what I encourage you to do is when you do check in and you observe the breath, that you try not to change it. So for example, when I was first discovering this and I would go on stage, I would be really nervous. But all I would do is focus on not holding my breath, not changing my breath, and observing the natural breath. So I'd be on stage and sometimes my breath was so fast. I wasn't hyperventilating because it was super shallow, but it was so fast. And but instead of changing it and slowing the breath down, I just observed that my breath was fast. And pretty quickly, my breath calmed down. But even if it hadn't calmed down, that wasn't the point. The point was that my mind could stay calm even though my body was having this reaction. So when we learn to observe our breath, we're able to separate the way that our body is reacting to the world with how our mind is going to respond. So I really encourage you to just check in with yourself 3 times today. Check in with yourself and notice, how are you breathing? So I'm going to give you 2 ways that you can easily check in with your breath. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about why this is so important to me. So I've had some low moments in my life, and I suffered from really bad skin for many, many years. I had really bad skin for about 15 years. And by the end of it was, again, it's like once I started meditating, my skin started getting better. And it was really, really bad. And I felt terrible about it all the time. And I was trying every product and every possible solution. I would change my diet. I would drink more water. I would try anything. And my skin was still bad. And I remember one day, this very distinct shift happen where I was sitting on my couch and my skin was so bad, and I was probably going out that night or something, and I just felt terrible. And I remember just my mind turned off and I started observing my natural breath. And I was like, well, if I just don't think about it, then it won't hurt me as much. It won't have so much power over me. And I just kept observing my breath. And that brought me tremendous relief, tremendous relief. And you know, in other times in my life when things have been really hard, if I just feel my breath coming in and out of my nose, it brings me relief. And it may bring you relief as well. And also, my mother, she passed away from pancreatic cancer. And I taught her how to observe her breath in the last couple months of her life. And she told me that as awful as everything was, observing her natural breath brought her the most relief. Because it was like she would turn her mind off, but she still had something to focus on. And it's almost like a game to see how long can you stay with the breath. How long can you be observing your natural breath? And she said that brought her so much relief, because as terrible as everything was, she could choose not to think about it and not to get so scared and full of fear. And instead, she could just be observing her natural breath. Here are 2 ways that you can easily come into awareness of your natural breath. And I have lots of meditations on this channel that can help you observe your natural breath. One is only 10 minutes and one is only 15 minutes. And if you listen to that every day, you will slowly increase your awareness of your breath. So the first thing is to feel your breath coming in and out of your nose. And I like to notice like how long the inhale is and then how long the exhale is, and what is the speed of the inhale and the speed of the exhale. So sometimes the inhale is really fast and the exhale is slower. Sometimes the inhale is slower and then the exhale is fast. So whatever the natural breath is, you're feeling the touch of the air as it comes in the nostrils and then back out. And you might notice that it comes in one nostril more than the other. And that's fine. It will change a lot throughout the day. So just taking a minute to stop and feeling your natural breath. And again, don't change your breath. It's your natural breath. And noticing the tempo of whatever your natural breath is in that moment. So the second way that you can be aware of your breath is to feel where in your torso the breath is moving. So the breath is constantly moving your torso, somewhere in your torso. So perhaps the breath is more in your chest, you're breathing more in your chest, or perhaps it's in your belly, and your belly is expanding and contracting with the breath, or if you're lucky, it might be in your back, although most people don't breathe into their backs, and I'm going to teach you how to breathe into your back on this channel at some point. But just noticing where in your torso your breath is a wonderful way to come into your awareness of the breath. With that, I hope that you take 3 moments today to stop and observe your natural breath and notice how are you responding to the world around you in that moment. And can you keep your attention on your breath for like 5 breaths without your mind wandering? And that's not easy. Maybe just aim for 3 breaths. Keep your focus on 3 breaths before your mind potentially wanders away. So I wish you luck with this exercise, and I am excited for you to become increasingly aware of your breath. Thank you.